I'm not where you're at. I want to be where you're at. I'm not where you're at. In your 3 pillars, the first, breathing, yeah, I love it. The second, cold, I love it. The third, commitment, not so good at that, Wim Hof. I can't keep it going. Anytime, whatever I'm trying, at some point, I just stop doing it. Do you have any instructions for that? Like the commitment part seems to be, of all of it, the most difficult.
Yes, it's not something you automatically need to do. But whenever you feel shit, whenever you feel trauma, blocked, or fear, or sluggish in your brain, or having no energy, you take the damn cold shower and it's back. Because it is resetting the body.
Wow.
Past your thinking. It will reset. Through our thinking, through our daily lives, we get into biochemical shit. And we don't feel it, we don't see it until it's too late.
Right.
And then we need the reset button. If you go into a good cold shower, the biochemical residue, the shit, is going to be washed out of the system because you learn to activate the adrenal axis.
Yes.
The adrenal axis is, for danger. When a dangerous situation, it exerts the adrenaline to come. Yeah. And it comes, if you want it or not. So if you go into the cold is actually dangerous for us. So then the strong hormones come in. And when they come in, they reset. And this is what everybody's got to know. Then at that moment, the working of the adrenaline is to make you the best of functionality to face the danger.
Wow.
And then people shit in their asses or in their pants and they piss because it is fear. But you go past the fear because you got to expel all the shit out of you. Yeah. To be the lightest possible, to flee or to fight or do whatever is needed. This is the working of the cold shower. And Duncan, if we go to the breathing does the same. It has been researched in the university showing that twice as much adrenaline comes in. Twice as much adrenaline than somebody who is going in fear into its first bungee jump.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, this is power.
I love it. This is why a lot of us comedians, we have to take shits before we go on stage. It's the same thing. Like your body wants to purge itself because you're feeling this thing that you've got to do. Okay, I have to know. I'm a dad. I got 2 kids. Do you, and both of my kids, they're not cold adverse. I know you have 6. That's one of the many things I love about you. Yeah, but my kids, I was taking my 3-year-old to preschool the other day, and it's cold here. It was cold, and we're about to go in the car, and he goes, "Dad, can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Sure." He goes, "I love the cold." I'm like, I'm going to interview Wim Hof. Anyway, I have to ask you, do you put your kids in a cold shower, or do you do cold exposure therapy with your children?
They do that by themselves.
Yeah.
And I never push nobody. That is the best way to push somebody to do it, by showing. Right. I show that I'm happy when I go into the cold, that I'm relaxed when I go into the cold, that I have so much energy afterwards, that I'm crazy about life. A kid understands the craziness about life. They are crazy themselves. They are not into the thinking. They are into doing. They are past. In the brain, they are past. When you go into the cold, you get into the level of the child, of the love for life as it is here in the moment.
Wow. Yes, that's it. It's so cool. Now, this is something, and I'm sorry if you've been asked this a million times, but I just want to hear it from you. There's this, I don't know if it's an urban myth. I know we can get hypothermia from jumping in cold water, but some people say your heart will stop. You could have a heart attack, cardiac arrest if you jump into super cold water. Is that a myth, or can you actually die from jumping in water that's super cold? Because of your heart.
I know. What I say, you got to go gradually. Because of going dressed up all the time, our vascular system, which is like 75,000 miles inside every body of us, capillaries, arteries, veins, they contain millions of little muscles. Yes?
Yes.
So they have a function. They got to act upon weather conditions. But because we always cover it up, those millions of little muscles are not well trained. They cannot deal with the impact. So what I tell people, go and start with 15 seconds cold shower. And then the other day, 30 seconds. And then up till you get to 2.5 minutes is when you are ready to jump in any frozen lake area or the North Pole or Antarctica.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, because we are built to endure that physical impact anytime. Only if you don't use it, you lose it. The power of your muscle tone inside the vascular system. That's why killer number one in our society is cardiovascular related diseases. Because we always cover it up.
Got it. Okay.
It's weekends.
Wow. That's okay. Now, thank you for answering that. Early at the beginning of the podcast, you were talking about something that we've all been thinking in different ways, or hopefully we have, which is you see what's going on in the world right now. You see the horror of centralization, the horror of the structure that appears in human society where we put some lunatic on a pedestal and then murder for them.
Yeah.
Murder for them.
Yeah.
Help me draw the connection between what you're teaching and how that poses a threat to centralization or to this insane thing that humanity keeps doing over and over and over again.
Yes, exactly. So what I show is that we are able to guarantee a much deeper control over the hormonal system, immune system, and the power system. And the hormonal system is what makes us, if we have a better control, able to balance out what makes us happy. That is dopamine, serotonin, it is endorphin, it is cannabinoids.
Yes.
We are able to control that much better. I've shown this in science. So that's number one. If you have much more control over your happiness, you can control it, then a happy man doesn't go to war. A happy man is not into possession. He doesn't need compensation for something he cannot feel. He thinks, I'm not happy, so I need something to be happy.
Yes.
But we are built to be unconditionally happy. We got those tools. So I show that in science. So I bring it, hey, there is an absolute autonomic control possible, or to the level of the autonomic nervous system.
Yes.
We are able to control our endocrine system, which is the pharmacy within us. The dopamine, the endorphins, serotonins, cannabinoids, opioids even.
Yeah.
I showed it in Detroit. It's not so far from where you are, I think.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Well, I'm up in the mountains of North Carolina, but yeah, Detroit is closer than California. But so you're talking the good stuff.
One.
Yeah,
that is one.
Yep.
A happy man doesn't go to war, and a happy man is not into possession. He is just happy.
Right.
But people lost the ability to guarantee happiness for themselves and their children.
Yes.
I am bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the nativeness of ours.
Nativeness.
Yes, we should be in harmony with nature.
Yes.
And the trees expel oxygen. We expel CO2. We give the tree the food.
Yes.
And the tree gives us food.
Yes.
Yet we are exploiting, tearing apart our own environment.
Yes.
And by which we get become disturbed. We become alienated through this mind thing of colonization, centralization, politics, bollocks, whatever they are doing.
Yeah.
It is out there, not in harmony with nature. It is for a short-term profit. And that they try to compensate for their not being able to control their minds.
Okay. Is this a conspiracy? So much money is made from war. And if so much profit is made from war, then it does not serve the military-industrial complex of any state to teach or put out into the world the possibility that you can be happy minus having to buy some mansion or a nice fucking car, whatever the crazy thing is. Do you think there's a active conspiracy to keep people disconnected from nature, to keep them away from this consciousness that you're talking about?
I think they just do not control this power of evolution called industrialization, which was sparking our minds in a different way than we can control. But now I tell you, now we get to where we were in the beginning of the conversation.
Yes.
How can we learn to control? Can we control now what we never have controlled?
Yes.
And that is to bring a society where people have control over happiness, strength, and health. And
Yes.
Let me explain a little bit more.
Okay.
It is 50 years ago, we, US or the world, sent a rocket to the moon.
Right.
The Apollo, 1968 or something. And it's like more than 50 years ago. And so that is 50 years ago. And all this Cape Canaveral, Houston, the capsule, the rocket, and all that is less than we got right now in an iPhone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Yet the iPhone is the fruit of our minds.
Right.
And it affects our minds. So the neurology, which invented that thing, is now able, is 10 times more than, say, 100 years ago.
Yes.
Nobody can see that from the outside, but from the inside, now we have found that we are able to activate 100% of our own brain.
Right.
And we are able, I showed that, I'm just a pioneer.
Yes.
But I show what everybody actually is able to do.
Yeah.
I show to go, in science it was impossible to go into the deepest part of the brain willfully. It was never shown. And then
Right.
I came and I showed robust activation at will into the area where we make opioids and cannabinoids. That is the deepest part of the brain. Robustly, not a little bit.
Yeah.
Boom! Done! They threw like ice water over me, and I could make my skin temperature not going down because I did not want to. That is the power of our mind if we control willfully, without moving, the deepest part of our brain, who then activates very powerful hormones, a lot of energy, just without moving. And that is, if we are able to go into the deepest of the brain, then Duncan, tell me, where can we not go?